Hey everyone, day 7, Hormone Bootcamp. This is a milestone. So if you've made it this far, 7 days, that's a good amount of time. But remember, it takes about 21 days to create a habit. So I want to make sure that, next week we're going to start moving more towards vitamin D as the main topic that I'm going to be talking about. But you're still going to be hydrating first thing in the morning. If you guys watched the videos combined on, the water and minerals and how important it is to have that in your diet, moving forward, you're probably going to, be like me where you just drink more water than anything else. Some of you are starting to understand why, I'm primarily on a liquid diet and really why I feel like that's just basically the way to go. But one thing I want to talk about to more or less wrap this up. I know yesterday I went, I gave you an idea of like how broad and how many different aspects I guess you can learn when it comes to water. And so today I want to talk about one that I know I've talked about it before, but I want to make sure that you guys understand this because later towards the boot camp, you guys are going to experience this. Being that, what I have found as far as the best way to produce hormones for me was to be on a ketogenic type of diet. Now, some of you know I prefer, for the most part, a plant-based ketogenic. Though, for the purposes of this bootcamp and for everyone who is following me, if you're not plant-based and if you're okay with animal-based, that's also good. I will be talking about both. Like I said, I'm not trying to get anyone to do everything exactly as I do, mostly trying to share more of my understanding of food. And I think that's important that you have the choice, that you're the one that's being empowered to make the right decisions, what is best for you. That being said, so one of the things that I experience and one of the things that I have noticed when it comes to changing diets, for example, like this weekend I was doing my citrus cleanse. I wasn't exactly a keto. What I've noticed is that when I'm not keto, when I'm doing like more, when I'm including carbs in my diet and things like that, um, I don't feel like I need as many minerals and I don't want to say, and that's not really the proper way to phrase it, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that whenever I go keto, I notice that my body feels like it needs way more minerals, especially salt. And so I want you to, keep that in mind, so that later on the program, when you guys start to experiment with going keto, especially during week 6, that's the important week where you just have to experience what the body reacts like when you go on a keto type of diet. One of the things you're going to notice is the your intake of salt will probably need to go up. And so one way that you're going to find out if you are not doing enough minerals, especially salt, is that you may feel your heart, your heartbeat won't be, the same. And so, like, I notice, like, whenever I go keto, if I'm not paying attention to how much minerals I need or I'm taking, I feel like, heart palpitations might start to like come back, or, like my heartbeat just, it's not like, it just doesn't feel like it's normal. And so I wanted to talk about that just to make sure that, it's out there, that you guys have that information so that, when the time comes around, and I'll be talking about it again, once we get to week 6, but it's, I think it's important. So I'm talking about water and digestion. And so I think that the best way to describe it, and it's something that I know I've shared in one of the videos, but, so next week we're going to be using fermented cod liver oil as our, that's the supplement basically that we're going to be walking through. And one of the videos that I shared, I was talking about how fermented cod liver oil is made. And when you understand what I talked about in that video, and so for those of you who haven't watched it, basically what it is they put the the cod in a salty brine solution. And remember, we're talking about this is a food where you're essentially trying to ferment a fat, and that's not exactly something that you do. I mean, fermentation is more for like carbohydrates. But that's kind of like the workaround. There is a salt tolerant bacteria, lactobacillus, and that's basically what we are trying to culture. And so this whole principle of adding more salt, for me, is more about understanding that that's just basically what the body needs to really, really process and digest fats. So that's basically, why I want to bring that up is because we're transitioning right now into, vitamin D. And so here's what you gotta, you know, understand about vitamin D in this supplement that, we're going to be using fermented cod liver oil. Um, the way that I take it, okay, and this is preparation for this next week. So fermented cod liver oil, you can actually start tonight, right? So everyone, is participating in the Hormone Bootcamp. You have all of this stuff already in hand. And so fermented cod liver oil, the way that the instructions that I first read about was through the 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss, and he talked about taking 2 capsules at night and 2 capsules in the morning. And so if you guys, participating, if you want to start tonight, you can do that. Or if you want to wait until tomorrow morning, you can do that as well. But what I have found, and by the way, I'm really happy and excited, with the people that I'm meeting throughout this boot camp. I just had some awesome conversations with, some of you guys, you are. And anyways, I'm just super excited, yeah, for basically the community that we are building here together. But I went on a tangent and I just lost my train of thought. Give me just 1 second while I figure out. Okay, so I'm talking about taking the capsules, cod liver oil. One of the things that we were talking about earlier today was that most of your hormone production happens during your sleep. So that's why, vitamin D, you're going to notice if you take it at night, that's going to be like probably like an ideal time for, if for hormone production, because that's one of like the raw materials that the body needs to produce hormones. The second component to it is, well, your body needs to be able to get sleep. And when I say sleep, it needs to get deep, restful sleep. And so this is basically one of those catch 22 areas where if your body isn't able to get good deep sleep, then it won't be able to produce hormones. And if it's not able to produce hormones, then it's not going to be able to get good sleep, because the body needs to produce hormones like melatonin to get your body to go to sleep. It needs to produce hormones like serotonin and dopamine. Those are the feel good hormones, and those are produced while you get good sleep. And so it's basically a vicious cycle when you can't do that, because, if your body isn't producing melatonin, serotonin, dopamine, that's what I believe is what I experience as far as my phone is heating up. So I don't know if this is going to last. Hold on. All right. All right, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stay on live because my phone seems like it's overheating, which is weird. It's late October. We're still like 90 plus degrees here in Phoenix. But anyway, so if your body's not producing these hormones, then you're not going to be able to get good sleep. And so one thing that I have found helped me out a lot was to supplement with an amino acid called L-Tryptophan, and that's basically what the body uses to produce melatonin. And so this is optional, but based on like some of the conversations that that I've had with people, and this is, one of the reasons why I like talking to people, is because I get to know you better and kind of like where you're at, and it just gives me ideas, or it allows me to think